presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
What more could you ask for? Beautiful weather, a great baseball team, and a great rivalry. We've got all three at Great American Ballpark today, the final of a four-game set. It's the Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago Cubs at Great American Ballpark on Fox Sports Ohio. Hi, hello, and welcome to Cincinnati, everyone. Along with the Cowboy Jeff Brantley, I'm George Grand. Well, the Reds culminating another good road trip. They've won 4 of the 6, and they've been great at home.
They really have, George. You think about playing in your home ballpark, all these fans coming to watch you play, and it's almost a sense of unity, your sense of identity. You protect your home ballpark, and I think that's one reason that the Reds have played so well here at Great American Ballpark.
And look at these teams that are playing well in 2012. All of them have played well at home, Cowboy.
Yeah, and all of those teams are right in the thick of it when you talk about the playoff race. And I think you have to be able to protect your home turf, and then you play as well as you can when you get out in somebody else's ballpark. The Reds have been able to do both.
17-6 since the All-Star break at home. Zach Cozart and the Reds know the fans have a lot to do with that.
You know, we feed off the crowd. We've had, good crowds this year for the most part, and it's fun being at home. We enjoy it, and you can't really put your finger on it why you play better at home. Obviously, you get in the 9th inning and you have Chapman coming in and the crowd electrifying like it has been.
You talk about it as a player, you look at it one way, as a fan, you look at it another, but when you're in that clubhouse, it means something when your fans are behind you.
It does, and boy, there is nothing like the rush of adrenaline when the game is on the line.
Well, the adrenaline's going for this guy and for everybody down in that dugout. We're about ready to play some baseball. When we return, we'll take a look at today's guys who'll toe the rubber. It's Volstad against Latos next on Fox Sports Ohio. Fox Sports Ohio, being brought to you by the 2012 Ford F-150. That's the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By the Regional Tourism Network. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati, USA. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Game time, Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Today's weather report brought to you by Thompson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drain Cleaning. Jesse Jackson has consulted with the WKRC Channel 12 weather staff, and he gives us this weather report for today. Smiling scoreboard, smiling weather report as well. Picture perfect day for baseball. Sunny, very little wind that'll affect this ball club and this ball game. The flags just limp in center field. And temperatures will be in the low 80s as today progresses. That is your Channel 12 weather for today's final of the 4-game set. Well, it'll be Volstad against Latos today. This guy, Cowboy, faced the Reds in Chicago. He's still looking for his first win.
Well, he is looking for his first win. He's also 23 starts without a win. And when you watch Volstad pitch, especially in his last ball game, it seemed like things were going to go his way for a period of time, but yet he was lifted out of the ball game, and then they end up winning, and he gets a no decision. But it has been a long, tough year for this big right-hander.
Volstad for the Cubs, Dale Swain. Matt Latos for the Reds. Latos has been outstanding. Last 2 starts, he's been up to par and then some. He goes for his 11th win today. What's the difference in Matt Latos?
I think when you watch Matt Latos, the biggest issue is command, whether it be fastball, in, up, or whether it be the breaking ball. And he can use the breaking ball, whether it's the big dropping hammer or whether it's the hard slider. He uses them both. But the one thing that we know that he does, and he does very well, is he pitches inside, especially in this ballpark.
Number 55 is loaded and ready to go. Coming up next, starting lineups. Ludwig's back in the lineup. Chapman's ready in the bullpen. Can the Reds wrap up a homestand with a W? Next on Fox Sports Ohio.
Presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Another sellout crowd at Great American Ballpark. Some light puffy clouds up above the ballpark. No threat of rain on this day. Another sellout last night. Some standing room only tickets available for today. Last night, the 12th sellout of the season. Great to see the ballpark filled with folks, Cowboy.
Well, I know from a player's perspective, the Reds are excited to see the ballpark each and every time the fans fill it up. And there have been days where even when it hasn't been quite full, it's still amazing the roar and just the hype that you get from the fans. And you heard Zach Cozart talking about it earlier. You push and you push and you push to get to that point in the ball game where you can get Chapman in and everybody goes berserk. And that, when they're on their feet like that, man, you're talking about chill bumps and nothing like it.
Anytime the Cubs come to town, you know the place is full. Let's check Dale Swabe's starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs. David DeJesus will lead it off. Darwin Barney, the #2 hitter. Luis Valbuena, who's had a great year and a great series against the Reds. Alfonso Soriano homered in this series already. He's the leading home run hitter for the Cubs. He comes in with 22 on the year. Starlin Castro, the new contract of 7 years, $60 million in his back pocket. Brian LaHair will hit behind him. Brett Jackson, great young talent in center field. The catcher, Steve Clevenger, and he'll catch Chris Volstad for today. On the mound for the Reds, big number 55, Cowboy.
You look at Matt Latos. He has not faced the Cubs yet here in 2012. Last time he faced the Cubs, 7 innings pitched, did not give up an earned run, 9 punch outs. The lineup that is in the game today for the Cubs is a collective 3 for 26 lifetime against Matt.
DeJesus will face him for the first time. Good on-base percentage guy, and so often we've seen it. When he gets off to a good start, can stay out of the stretch early, can get into a groove in the first inning. It's important. Challenge here with DeJesus. Good on-base guys, 267, 5 homers, 34 knocked in. And, you know, when everything was wrapped up yesterday, Cowboy, we looked at each other, and this guy had the swing that made the difference in the ball game. It was his home run in the 9th that proved to be the difference.
Well, that's why those extra insurance runs, especially late in the game, when you say add-on baseball, they mean a big difference in wins and losses.
DeJesus in at 267. He's second in the National League coming into today, and on-base percentage from the leadoff spot. A solid performer throughout his years in the American League. Always will give you good defense at all 3 outfield positions. He's hit anywhere from first to third on a regular basis in the American League, and now here with the Cubs. No balls, 2 strikes. Latos peers in for a sign from Ryan Hannigan. That's the way to start it.
That's that hammer we were talking about, and Latos throws 2 of them. And when he's got that fastball working inside early, you have to respect it. You start opening those hips, and then he drops that baby on you. You can forget about it.
Our Farmers Insurance report card of the day brought to you by the Farmers Insurance Group. Matt Latos, opponent batting average first time through the lineup. Pretty good, huh?
3rd in the league. Oh, my.
That's your Farmers Insurance report card. Here's Darwin Barney. He's in at 268, 6 homers, 35 knocked in. Cowboy mentioned a lack of offensive production by this lineup. He's 0 for 3 against Latos. Soriano's 1 for 8 in a homer. Castro's 2 for 9. LaHair 0 for 3, and Clevenger 0 for 3. That's this lineup against Latos. Bounce right back to the big guy. I was looking at some video the other day, Cowboy, at Matt Latos. I looked at last year. I looked at the first month of this year. He stands on the mound, ready to deliver his pitch, gets his sign. He looks like a different pitcher.
Well, I think that coming over early in the season, I think there was a lot more made about this ballpark than probably what needed to be made. And, you know, Matt was trying to be almost too perfect with every pitch that he would throw, and he was getting behind in the count. You don't see that now. I mean, he is on the attack from the time he steps on the hill to the time they come to get him, and it's usually late.
Here's Luis Valbuena in at 226, but he's had a season against the Reds, 368. And here at Great American Ballpark, the last 2 years, he's over 400 at 421. 5 for 9 and a homer in this series. Valbuena will be followed by Alfonso Soriano.
I think the thing that you have to love about Matt Latos is the fact that he brings a little attitude to the mound with it, and he can intimidate the opposition in a hurry.
2 balls, no strikes. There might have been no pitcher in the league in the last 10 years that had more of that than Zambrano. And the key for him was learning how to control it. He never was able to learn how to control his emotions. What we've seen maybe this year is Matt learning how to control his.
No doubt about it.
3-0. That's low, ball 4.
And Matt right now is not real happy. And this is a situation that you just mentioned, and I think in times past you might have a little bit of confrontation between Matt Latos and the umpire Laz Diaz, because that was 3 consecutive pitches that Matt threw that split the plate in half. He thought were strikes, and they were called down.
And there might be something brewing here, because Diaz just motioned to Latos, come on, come on, come on, throw the pitch. I mean, the umpires have their clock going between pitches to try to get pitches thrown. Here's Alfonso Soriano. Soriano at 262, 22 homers, 73 knocked in. Number 22 has come in this series. He's 1 for 8 and a homer against Matt Latos. He is the lone power source on an everyday basis that's been in this lineup all year. Everybody else is long gone. Rizzo has the day off today. Anthony's been outstanding since coming to this ball club, but Rizzo off today. Rizzo and Cardenas, the 2 lefties, off the bench. Castillo, Mathers, and Bitters, the righties that are on the bench. For the manager, Dale Swaim today. 1 ball to Soriano. Big swing and a miss. Yesterday, Johnny Cueto was about as good, if you didn't see yesterday's day game, as he's been. You know, he's 11-0 in day games after yesterday's win. The lone mistake he made on the day was a fastball into Soriano, and he's planted it in the second deck and left. But other than that, Cowboy, that guy right there was brilliant yesterday.
He was outstanding, and you expect the same thing from Matt Latos today.
Valbuena short lead. Latos will take care of it himself. A walk, no harm in the first. Latos will take a breather. Cozart, Stubbs, Phillips due up from Great American Ballpark. Ziggy, Matt Sigafus dealing up some highlights of home runs from this weekend. There have been a few of them. Let's check the Reds batting order for Johnny B. Baker, Dusty Baker. Zach Cozart leads it off. Drew Stubbs in the number 2 spot. Brandon Phillips, who struggled against the Cubs all year, trying to cash in on this day against Volstad. Ryan Ludwig, boy, has he been on fire. 10 homers, 25 knocked in the last 10 games. Jay Bruce, Frazier, Valdez, Hannigan, and Latos. Here's Volstad.
Volstad will throw you strikes. He will try to mix it up as much as possible. And probably more than anybody else in this ballpark, he wants a win. And he wants it bad.
The numbers tell you that story. 0-9, an ERA of 6.96. At home, he's 0-5 at Wrigley. And on the road, 0-4 with an ERA of over 6. The Reds, of course, in previous years have faced him in Florida. He came over in the Zambrano deal. That's a grass cutter into right, a base hit. Here's your 4 defensive alignment for Dale Swaim and the Cubs. They come in 9th in the league in defense with 74 errors on the season. Alfonso Jackson, great speed in center, and De Jesus, solid defender. Valbuena third, Castro and Barney, fine double play combo, and Ryan LaHare, who had a great first half, is over at first. Steve Clevenger will catch Volstad today. That's your 4 defensive alignment.
Well, the Reds will be watching Volstad right out of the gate to see how quick he is to home plate. If he picks that big knee up and it takes him a long time, they'll be off to the races.
They have thrown out only 2 of 12 that have tried to steal against Volstad, so his numbers aren't good. And behind the plate, Clevenger has thrown out only 4 of 35. So for one of the few times of late, there may be a chance to get the running game going today.
Rough combination from the Cubs standpoint.
Short lead for Cozart. Stubbs to right field. Hit pretty good, but it'll stay in the park. At the warning track is De Jesus. Tagging is Cozart. He'll wait to see where the throw goes, but that guy's usually right on the money. Good idea from Billy Hatcher. He had him come back and tag. But De Jesus, solid defender. A 1-hop throw right to the second base bag. And here's Brandon. Unlike the Cubs against Latos, the Reds have had some success against Volstad. Brandon at the top of the list, 5 for 10 in his career against him.
Where Brandon has hurt Volstad has been with the fastball up and away and with that slow curveball. You talked about Volstad being with the Florida Marlins, now Miami Marlins. He pitched inside a lot more when he was down there, and he's not doing that much at all with the Cubs. And in this league, in this day and age, if you don't pitch inside, you're probably not going to win too many games.
That's a battle that former Reds minor league pitching instructor Chris Basio's had with Volstad and a couple of these other Cubs pitchers. He's one who's always believed in pitching inside.
Always.
Basio, highly regarded in the Reds organization, still highly regarded by Walt Jocketty and the Reds and those that work with him in the minor leagues, has the chance to be at the major league level. And he is the pitching coach here, along with his former teammate, Dale Swaim.
And he talks a lot about establishing a presence on the mound early from the first pitch.
There's Dale talking to Anthony Rizzo. Boy, he is really, Rizzo's just a sponge for information. He'll talk with the pitching coach. He'll talk with the manager. Good young prospect. A little bit of confusion, but Valbuena will cut it off, get the out at second, but not over at first. Earlier in the series, they almost collided, and we've seen the best in the business in Scott Rowland, and what he's in, he's shown us a number of times. You're the third baseman. Your job is to cut towards the mound, not in front of your shortstop.
And you're right with that. The only problem there is that seemed to be an easier play for Valbuena to get the out that he got because it was such a slow hopper. If that's a harder ball, there's no way that Valbuena should be back there where he is.
So still a runner at first, but not 2 outs, and here's Ludwig.
And the conversation continues between Castro and Valbuena about that same play.
The two are very close. In fact, they are like inseparable. Every time you come to the ballpark or even walking from the park, those two are usually tagging behind Alfonso Soriano.
And they're still talking about it. And the thing that you don't want to have happen is what happened the other day that you just talked about, is a collision, because a collision helps nobody.
It's trying to get something going, and when you got an 0-9 pitcher, you'd love to get on top early. How about Ryan Ludwig? This series, it's been hello, how are you, goodbye. 10 homers, 25 runs batted in his last 10 games, and in this series, he's kept the Reds in it.
Well, that ball there is the most impressive. Up and out over the plate, and he drives it to right center field towards the power stacks.
Fourth time this season. He had a 2-home run game yesterday. 16th time in his career. Talk about resurrecting a career after a dismal 2011. And you know, we talk a lot about who might be the MVP, who might be the Cy Young Award winner, who might be the Rookie of the Year. I mean, Burnett's had a great comeback year in Pittsburgh, but Ryan Ludwig also worthy of comeback player of the year consideration.
I think there's no doubt about it. I mean, there's the numbers right there since the All-Star break. And for what he has provided with Joey Votto out of the lineup, I don't know that you can measure that. And it's not just from an offensive perspective, it's from a clubhouse perspective as well.
Quiet leadership. He's part of that component for the Reds. The breaking ball clips the inside corner. We're full 3-2. Phillips will be off with 2 away. Fastball misses inside. The Reds have a runner in scoring position on the base hit and a walk, and here's Jay Bruce. Ludwig 25 homers, Bruce 25. Bruce sitting on a team leading 75 runs batted in. Steps in at 251. League leaders in the National League. Ryan Braun still on top at 33. Beltran next at 28. Bruce and Ludwig at 25. Nice place to be.
Yeah, I would say so.
Phillips going. There's nobody near third. Valbuena, brain cramp. It's like, hello. And Dale Swaim looks down at the dirt.
We've seen this time and time again from the Cubs. And it's instincts as much as it is anything, and not paying attention to what's going on the field of play.
And great instincts by Brandon Phillips. They picked their pocket. So first to third now. There's the 1-0. That's wide. Now consistently the Cubs have been away to Bruce. They've made 2 mistakes, and he's made them pay both times.
But if you're going to put on a shift like this with 2 outs and a runner at second base, you've got to expect that the runner's going to try to take third.
Rifled into right. That'll get a run in. Ludwig around second, going to third. He'll cruise there, first and third. There's your chant. Bruce, Bruce, Bruce. 76 runs batted in. The Reds take an early lead.
You take third base, and by doing that, I think you take a whole lot of concentration from the pitcher off the batter and make him start to question what's going on out here, and then you leave a ball right in the heart of the plate.
Now you saw where Clevenger was set up away on the outside corner of the plate. That drifts over the middle, and Bruce makes him pay. There's Frazier. tied up to 290. First and third again for the Reds.
Well, this Reds team comes to the plate now not hoping to score, but expecting to score. There's a difference.
Dribbler down to second. This will end the inning. The Reds do get a run out of a 2-hit, 1-walk inning. They lead it 1-0. To the second we go. Starlin Castro leads it off. Elk and Elk Storylines brought to you by Elk and Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Matt Latos, rocky month of April, but things started to turn around in May. And look at his month of August. Boy, you talk about dialing it up in intensity and in numbers. Matt Latos has done that, Cowboy.
He's only had 2 bad starts since the month of April, and otherwise those numbers would be in the 2s.
Gave up a walk in the first. No harm there. We go to the second. Starlin Castro, Brian LaHare, Brett Jackson due up. Castro, one of the bright young stars of all of baseball, not just Chicago or the National League. Made his debut here in Cincinnati, and boy, we all had your eyebrows pop up a little bit on that night. This series, he continues to be pretty good against the Reds. 5 for 12 overall. 340 this year against the Reds, and for his career 287, 4 homers, 25 knocked in. And he can run too. He picked up his 20th stolen base. So once again he'll be past the 20 stolen base number for a season. Chasing, looking, Frazier got him. Castro slams the bat down and breaks it at the plate. He turned around, slammed the bat down, and cracked it in half after the pop-up picked up by Frazier.
What's he going to do with all the wood that he left in the batter's box?
Laz Diaz will pick that up, make a lamp out of it. Take a look. That's a bad piece of lumber.
Yeah. Well, the bat was already cracked because he got jammed so bad on the fastball in on his hands. I think that was more embarrassment than anything else.
So Castro retired one away, and here's Brian LaHare.
When you do things like that as a hitter, George, all it does is make the pitcher feel better.
And the best pitchers notice that.
Oh, yeah. All that does is give Latos fuel for the fire.
know, we talk a lot about maturity, and we mentioned it yesterday. You talked about Greg Maddux. Bottom dropped out of that one, huh? And Johnny Cueto does that now too. And it's a combination, not just your catcher. It's your catcher and your pitcher together to read a hitter. And the best pitchers and catcher combinations have the ability to read what a hitter's thinking, what a hitter's doing.
Well, the two that are on the field of play today, Hannigan and Latos, they did not start out like they are now. And it took quite a few starts for these two to come together.
He got that call. That's a strikeout looking strikeout number 2 for Latos. Who was the one catcher that you were on page with more than any other?
I would have to say Bobby Ramos, and he was not even a big leaguer. He should have been. By far, I didn't even have to shake him off, and probably helped me get to the big leagues as much as anybody else. We were talking about that yesterday, and I had a club in Calgary that I could not beat in AAA. I mean, they beat my brains out, literally. Every time I played against them, pitched against them, I didn't get out of the second inning. And our manager, Wendell Kim, said, don't shake him off. Throw what he puts down. That's how I learned to pitch backwards. Breaking balls early, fastballs late. And I'd never done that before. And here I was in AAA, and it taught me a whole new lesson about getting hitters out and getting them out a different way.
2 balls, no strikes to Brett Jackson. Reds defensively have Hannigan behind the plate on this day, catching Latos. And the forward defensive alignment has Ludwig, Stubbs, Bruce in the outfield. Valdez is at third. And everyone else per usual, your forward defensive alignment. That's a strike.
The stuff that Latos is throwing right now, that's no hit kind of stuff he's got today.
Almost identical to the guy who was on the mound 24 hours ago at this time.
It's amazing the 1-2 punch the Reds have with Cueto and Latos.
Slap foul down the left field line. For Jackson, yesterday a day he will always remember, his first major league home run. And fortunately for him, in a visiting ballpark, it went right into his own bullpen. Oh, they were able to retrieve the ball for him. Three-two. Looped into the infield. Who's going to take charge? The Gold Glover will. And that'll do it. 1, 2, 3 in the second for Matt Latos. He's due up third. Valdez will lead it off. look forward to Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Hey, Reds fans, don't forget this. If a Red hits a home run and hits the Toyota sign during today's game, Corrine McFerrin from Cincinnati, Ohio, a proud owner of a 2010 Corolla, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Now, Cowboy, it's interesting because every day we read that and list the person's name that might win. Valdez showing bunt, fouls it off for strike one. And Jesse always goes to his phone like he's trying to find the person, see if he can work a deal to maybe get the Tundra. They already have a new Toyota already. So you don't really need that Tundra, do you? I could use it.
Always working a deal.
There's Wilson, 210, no homers, 11 knocked in. The big guys are important on every team. The little guys, very often, as you get down to crunch time, have a lot to say about whether you win or lose. And Valdez, no, he hasn't been an offensive force, but you take 3 good bunts, a ground ball that advanced a run in a winning rally, a couple of defensive plays, and Wilson Valdez has had a hand in this season. 3-1.
I had no idea, watching him from the other side, how good he was. I don't care what the offensive numbers say. This guy is a big league player.
Lined out for out number 1, and here comes Ryan Hannigan. Ryan in at 279. Against the Cubs, he has played as, talking to Bob Brenly, the former major league catcher and great broadcaster with the Cubs, and also Dale Swain. And they have supreme respect for the way he plays the game, the way he handles the pitching staff. In fact, I asked Brenly, I said, give me your evaluation of your catchers. He went through that. And he said, boy, he said, if I'm proud of anybody, if I'm part of the Reds organization, I'm proud of this player that came out of Massachusetts, and no one was interested in drafting him high, and he made himself a pretty good catcher. He said he credits Rick Sweet and Corky Miller for helping him, and they helped him come through the minor leagues. There's Brenner, Coshocton, Ohio native. But those are the guys that bind a team together. Like you said, Bobby Ramos, Corky Miller down in AAA, line drive center field. But what Brenly mentioned, he said every time I turn around, he's getting a hit against the Cubs, and his average against the Cubs is better than any other team he faces. Coming in today, 333 against the Cubs. He'll take that. Here's Latos.
Ryan Hannigan does his job, and he does it above and beyond what you see other guys doing in that same spot. When you don't have the rifle cannon arm, or you don't have the big home run bat, you make up for it with your study of the game. You make up for it with your head by thinking better than the guy that's standing at home plate with the bat.
Shows bunt, pulls it back, fouls it off, 1-1. Mark Berry rolling through some signs for Latos. He's in the third base coach's box as usual. Billy Hatcher down at first.
Well, Latos doesn't have any problems bunting the baseball. He's got 7 bunts on the year. Bunted right through that one.
Misses the breaking ball, 1-2. In your mind, tougher to bunt a breaking ball or a fastball?
Depends on who's throwing that fastball.
Johnny Cueto, He got him. So the Reds don't advance the runner. That's a strikeout. Strikeout number 1 for Volstad, and here comes Cozart, a single first time up. Tom Seaver always said. He said, if someone is in a sacrificing situation and they square, I'll give them one fastball right down the middle. Let them do it so I don't have to throw 5 or 6 pitches. If they miss it, I want to strike them out.
Well, I'm just not a big believer in that pull the bat back and swing and try to put the ball in play. That's by far one of the most difficult things to do standing at home plate, even for an everyday player. And if they're going to give you a line to bunt down, which first base was wide open there, then I don't pull the bat back and take a swing. I bunt the ball down the first baseline. Even with the third baseman charging, he's not going to run all the way to the first baseline and throw it to second base.
One ball, one strike. Short lead for Hannigan. That's dribble foul. Todd Frazier's been spectacular as a rookie for the Reds, but I mean, look at the numbers. Cozart leads all National League rookies in hits and extra base hits. Second in runs and doubles, third in home runs. So he's put up a pretty good ledger for himself.
And plays one of the most demanding positions on the field of play.
Dale Swaim is a former shortstop, came up, and in fact they opened up shortstop after Robin Yount injured his shoulder, moved Yount to center field in Milwaukee, and he took over the shortstop spot. So he can appreciate what Cozart's meant to this club. He's seen him a lot this year. There goes the runner down the third base line and foul.
Now the defense that Cozart has brought, and just the stability with the glove that he's brought to shortstop, has been one thing, and then you add in the offense and what he has meant to this club at the top of the order. I don't know that the Reds would be where they are right now without him.
Down to short. Castro shovels to Barney. Reds will strand a runner. They've stranded 3 through 2. They do lead it on a run scoring hit from Bruce.
Here on Fox Sports Ohio, it's Reds Live pregame. You'll get your first look at the lineups, in-depth features, and so much more. It's Reds Live. It's presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Jim Day with you just beside the Reds dugout. Let's update you on Joey Votto. We saw him do some on-field activities this morning. He was taking some ground balls and doing some running exercises in the outfield. Now, that's expected. What was unexpected is when Dusty Baker told us before the game that he will not go on this next road trip. When he was close to coming back before this last surgery, he was with the Reds on the road, but this time around they think it's better that he stays back with the training staff here, that he can get much more extended work that way. So he will not go on this road trip. And I think second time around, boys, they're going to take it a little more cautious. This is just me talking. I'm not sure we're going to see Joey Votto until at least September 1st. They want to get him completely healthy, and as obvious, their team is playing very well without him, so they have the luxury of doing that right now.
Thanks, JD. Hit the nail right on the head. That was great, Cowboy. We were sitting up here watching him take those ground balls early this morning, and as the players kind of sauntered out from the dugout out to the outfield to start stretching, they were all riveted on him. It was great that you saw him taking his ground balls, and there were 20 players looking right at him.
And they were messing with him.
And then they got around him and had some fun with him, didn't they? Great to see him back on the field, though. But I think JD hit the nail right on the head, and you've said it time and time again. Two things. Number one, get as well as you can to come back, but you're never going to be 100% this year. And number two, once he comes back, he's going to need some days off.
Right. And it's very difficult for Joey to be at the ballpark and not be able to play. It is, I don't even know how to describe that, but I remember it, and I know that feeling. It's like somebody punching you in the gut. And sometimes when you know you're not going to play no matter what, then you get your work here and you keep up with what the club's doing while they're on the road. It's only a 4-game trip.
Clevenger takes a walk, so he marches down to first. Bolstad, the pitcher, up, and the Reds expect a sacrifice from him. And you know, the other part of it is Joey's very sensitive. If you're on the road trying to get your work done, that means you've got to disrupt the rest of your teammates' routine. You need a coach to hit your ground balls or extra batting practice. Here, he's not disrupting his teammates. He's very sensitive to that.
You're right. He doesn't want to take away from anybody else's practice or their ability to get their work done or take anybody else's time away.
Olstad trying to do what Latos tried to do, and he fouls it off. Chris grew up in Florida, Palm Beach Gardens, outstanding high school player, ended up playing for his state team, then the Florida Marlins. Thought he was going to spend a long career there. When Zambrano was traded from Chicago there, he came here. Still searching for win number 1. Takes a look down at third. Pat Listash will flash through some signs for him, and the veteran first base coach Dave McKay implanted in that first base coach's box.
You can see Volstead really moving up in the front of the box. That way anything that he bunts is going to stay fair.
That kicks away, and they do get it. Oh, never give up, and Hannigan didn't. He double dribbled it and still hung with it and got the out.
He tried to grab it barehanded, and it hit off of his fingertips because of the way the ball was spinning, because it was bunted directly straight down into the ground, and as it popped up, it had a funky spin to it. Watch Hannigan come out. As he tries to grab the ball spins right out of his hand, and boy, he really had to hustle to make that play.
So the sacrifice is successful. They do get the runner to second. Runner in scoring position, and here's De Jesus, who struck out first time up. Day starts with the Reds holding a 6.5 game lead over Pittsburgh, 7.5 over the Cardinals. They'll be starting shortly in St. Louis. This one slap foul down the right field line. The Pirates in town to play the Redbirds at a 2:15 Eastern start there. Last night, or yesterday, the Cardinals held on for a 5-4 victory over the Buccos.
And I would imagine from the Reds' perspective, there's no reason to look in the rearview mirror at this point. Just play your game, because they got a good thing going right now.
I mean, win 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3.
Just take each day as it comes.
Dusty's been there before. First with the Giants in a pennant race twice, then with the Cubs. Scott Rowland's been there before with the Phillies and the Cardinals. Johnny Cueto had a brief taste in 2010, but they want more this year. Drilled left center field. Stubbs racing back, looking up. It will be one hop and over the wall. A run will score, but the Reds get the benefit of it. De Jesus probably would have had a triple out of that.
Tell you, De Jesus really surprises you sometimes with his power. Hit the home run for the insurance run last night. He had just got finished pulling a ball foul down the first baseline, and you come back inside with the fastball, and he gets inside of this one and shoots it the other way. That's a heck of a job of hitting.
David checks where the outfielders are, leads off second. Still one away. Here's Barney. Bounce back to the pitcher first time up. Brandon Phillips aside, is this the next best second baseman in the league?
I don't know, George. I haven't gotten to see him enough to make that decision. I mean, statistically, he's done awfully well. But statistics don't always tell the full story for me.
There's the 0-1. Fastball misses inside. And Brandon almost has reinvented the position with the acrobatic and key plays that he's made at second. He'll get the balls that other people won't get to.
He reminds me of the Roberto Alomar type of second baseman. That not only gets to balls that no other second baseman can get to, but he has the shortstop arm to be able to make the play in dramatic fashion.
And the Cubs, of course, had a Gold Glover in Ryan Sandberg, and similar to Barney, he made all the plays. Not in spectacular fashion. He made all the routine plays, very seldom made an error. And of course, that was in the era. You remember that when the grass at Wrigley Field was about 1.5 feet high.
Oh, yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him. Nasty stuff. Three strikeouts for Latos.
Breaking ball. A little shorter one there. And that's what makes it so difficult to decipher with Latos where exactly that breaking ball is going to end up. He can start it high and the ball breaks all the way to your toes, or he can start it up as he did that one, and it's just got that short downward action and it locks you up.
Here's Valbuena, walked in the first. De Jesus, who doubled in the tying run, leading off second. Now you watch good base runners, and I mean, you can, those that have speed, We talk about Billy Hamilton down in the minors. Reds had one of the best ever, Barry Larkin, Joe Morgan. And the best base runners aren't always the fastest. De Jesus is an outstanding base runner. You watch him take his secondary lead. He never takes a pitch off. He'll always take that extra 4 or 5 steps to get everything he can out of a lead. Sometimes overlooked, except when you score on a base hit that means it in the 8th or 9th inning. How many times do you see somebody leading off second, just strolling off and standing still?
And then just stand there. Well, the biggest issue about getting that secondary lead, and what we're talking about, is as the ball is in flight to the plate, that's your secondary lead, is to have some semblance of momentum going to the next bat. And when you're standing still, there is no momentum.
The other side of that, from a pitching and defense standpoint, if you get too lazy with it, how many times have we seen the best catchers take advantage of that and wind up picking you off?
Throw it right behind you. There's a very fine line between getting a good secondary lead and being over aggressive.
2-2.
Good change
towards left. He had him way out in front of it. Ludwig will glove it. Cubs tie it on a double by De Jesus. Stubbs due up and we return. Gallon of ice cream. You'll remember that. When was the last time Chris Volstead had a win? He'll probably remember that, won't he?
I would imagine when he does get one, he will remember it. It's probably been so long since he had a W. It's probably been way back in the back of his head.
There's Drew Stubbs, flied to right to the warning track, first time up. Time for our AT&T trivia question on this beautiful Sunday in Cincinnati. Who holds the baseball record for the most consecutive starts without a win? The most consecutive starts without a win.
Don't be fooled by that question. It's the most consecutive starts without a win, not the most losses.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course, they could be the same guy.
Who was young?
Anthony.
He had a whole string of them. That'd be my first guess. Who tied the record for the most consecutive victories with the Giants franchise in San Francisco to start a season.
That was a long time ago.
Hey, you're on the same page with Juan Marichal. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Anytime you're mentioned with the Dominican dandy, that's pretty neat.
We'll take it.
That's what's great about a franchise. Here in Cincinnati, you get Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, Tony Perez. George Foster was here yesterday, swinging a miss. Stubbs retired. When you have history that can come back, and in San Francisco, you had that when you came to the major leagues. Pretty nice if you get Willie Mays walking through your clubhouse.
We had some great ones. Joe Morgan was there all the time because he was broadcasting and he lived there. And we got to see Willie not every day, but a lot of the days. Orlando Cepeda was there a lot. There were quite a few that stepped into that clubhouse.
And the biggest character, Tito Fuentes.
Oh, Tito. Oh,
I always remember him.
Oh, Tito.
Here's Brandon, bounced out first time up. And you had somebody very similar to what we had here. I mean, Joe Nuxhall was always so adored as a player and as a broadcaster. And Lon Simmons was the same way in San Francisco.
Yep.
Everybody from one end of the organization and one end of the town to the other. That's a liner ensnared by LaHair. Good idea. They've been going away on him this whole series. He tried to pick their pocket down the line, but a nice play by LaHair.
Days to have a tall first baseman that has a glove on the left hand, because that's full extension there. I'm not sure that Rizzo gets that ball. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but that's a tough play for a left-handed thrower. He'd have had to backhand that baby.
Back to when you came up, they had one there that was maybe the biggest of all time. Stretch.
You got it.
That was like a big oak tree down at first base. Willie McCovey.
Willie Mac. Covey Cove.
Here's Ryan Ludwig, walk first time up. High in the air to center. He hits it a mile in the air, but it's going to stay in the park. Jackson has it. Just missed it. 1, 2, 3 go the Reds. To the fourth we go. Soriano leads it off. The 24th through the 26th at Great American Ballpark, presented by Kroger. Friday and Saturday, all fans in attendance will receive a Barry Larkin commemorative print, thanks to Cincinnati Bell and the Inquirer. Plus, don't miss a Barry Blast post-game fireworks show Friday night and a special pregame Barry Larkin jersey retirement on Saturday. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or reds.com. Another sellout crowd at Great American Ballpark. The 12th sellout crowd of the season last night, over 41,000. Similar numbers for today in the final of the homestand. Reds head to Philadelphia, then come back home for a festive weekend next weekend. Here's Latos. Line drive by Soriano to left. It'll drop in front of Ludwig. He'll take a big turn and will hold. 25 doubles for Soriano to go along with his 22 home runs.
Well, he doesn't miss that first pitch fastball, does he?
I don't know that I'd throw him a fastball for a strike.
Trying to get it down and away. And he's right on that ball. The same way with the guy that follows him. I mean, Castro is very similar. Doesn't have quite the power that Soriano does, but they both like those first pitch fastballs, first pitch strikes, really. If it's close, they're hacking.
Short lead for Soriano. Here's Castro, who popped up into foul territory first time up. Twelve homers on the season, as you see, so he's got an outside shot at a 2020 season. He's already picked up his 20th stolen base of the year. Right field, Bruce right there. One away. Hey, right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, college football season begins in less than 2 weeks. You can already get a preview of the Bearcats opener against Pitt, and over in Columbus, how the players adapted to the new regime under Urban Meyer. Stay connected with FoxSportsOhio.com all season for your most up-to-date college football news. Ohio State in the top 20 in the AP poll announced today. They are not eligible for the coaches poll, but they're in the top 20. UC got some votes, but not in the top 20. It's like a throwback to 1974. USC preseason #1, Alabama #2. That's the year they finished tied the split championship. I didn't see where Mississippi State was.
I didn't either. I think we both missed that one.
Here's Brian LaHare, struck out looking first time up. Gonna get to any football games this fall?
I'm hoping that I'll be busy.
October, hopefully.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I might make a November game after the 1st.
The World Series could end on November the 1st. That's, of course, barring rain, could be later. But right now, the last scheduled game would be the 1st of November.
That's why I said after the 1st.
Always thinking. Yes, you are.
Got to plan ahead.
There goes Soriano. They got him nailed, dead to rights. Trying to pick the pocket of Latos, trying to make something happen, but running too early. He's retired, 2 away.
Not a very smart play at all by Soriano. You got a guy at the plate that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. That's just terrible base running.
That's his 3rd base running mistake of the series. Looped into center. Stubbs will haul it in. Base hit, nothing to show for it. Let's see if the Reds can pick something up. Bruce will lead it off. With interviews from Dusty and the players. Reds Live brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. You want the complete story? Jim Day, Jeff Pecora will bring it to you as soon as the game ends. They're the first into the clubhouse, the first to keep you up to date on what's going on. Who holds the MLB record for most consecutive starts without a win? Your answer. Matt Kehoe. How about Matty? Wow. 28 starts. Jojo Reyes from the Mets, 2010-2011. Forgot about Matt Kehoe.
You know, it's amazing that the Mets have Jojo Reyes with that start issue, and Anthony Young with no wins.
Jay Bruce will take it. Infield hit. Volstad. Fortunately, Barney was there to haul it in, or else Bruce could have wound up at second. So a scratch hit for the Reds to start the fourth, and here comes Frazier.
When things start going your way, you start getting those kind of hits. Right now, things are starting to move Jay's way. And for the Reds, that is a very good thing.
So a leadoff hitter on, and here's Todd. Todd bounced to second first time up. Reds had something working in the first. Cozart led off with a hit, and then after two are out, Ludwig walked. Jay Bruce singled in a run, but then Frazier bounced to second to end the inning. Reds got one run out of the inning. We're tied 1-1. Cubs scoring on the double by De Jesus in the third. Ball one to Todd. Breaking ball, swing and a miss for a strike.
Looked like Todd was just a little in between there. He started with his hips, but didn't quite get the hands going at the same time. I think he was expecting that ball to break a little bit more than what it did downward. That is what he was expecting from the first pitch.
1-2. Fastball just misses inside. 2-2. And Volstad was in Florida. They tried to work with him. He's a big, tall, lanky guy, long legs. They tried to work with him on a slide step. He's never been comfortable with it, and he still isn't today, Cowboy.
And you can see that he's not comfortable with it, because when he's in the stretch and he tries the slide step, he misses the breaking ball, and he misses it more times than he actually gets through it. It's almost as though he's so worried about the movement of that front foot that he forgets to get the backside loaded and get that drive leg going towards the plate.
Right about now, if you've got Joe Morgan, Tony Perez, Pete Rose sitting in your dugout, they're looking to see, does he only throw his fastball with a slide step? And does he only throw his breaking ball with a full leg kick? And they would pick it up
in a 30-second minute.
3-2. See if Bruce is going.
Frazier's got a huge hole on that right side.
Cubs trying to buy a step maybe with Bruce.
Well, you look to this side over here and you can see how much area from where Darwin Barney is right here by second base. Got almost 90 feet of room over.
Bruce going. That's a banger in the left. A base hit. Bruce around second, going to third. It's bobbled by Soriano, and rounding first halfway to second is Frazier, but he'll slam on the brakes. If Soriano had tried to go to third, Frazier was going to go to second. For the Cubs standpoint, he's probably lucky that he bobbled the ball.
He would have never gotten Jay Bruce whether he had barehanded and caught the ball right on the money or not. You're exactly right. As soon as that ball was bobbled and he picked it up, Frazier had to stop.
So first and third for the Reds. Frazier and it's not always who gets the big hit. It is who keeps the line rolling and moving, and Frazier keeps the line moving here. First and third. Here comes Valdez.
And you may see a bunt to the right side here and a run score from third base.
He's the Reds' best bunter. He's done that 3 times this year. Line drive, not this time. That's a solid base hit. Knocked down and gloved by Soriano. It'll be a 2-base hit in second and third. Volstead let that one hang up in the zone, and Valdez punishes it to left.
I don't know how in the world Soriano caught this ball.
You're right.
I think the ball caught him. As you said, the ball just spins up there. And boy, you see the chin down, bat head through the zone, line drive into left center field. Watch this ball. I mean, just a pure lunging effort by Soriano. That ball's all the way to the bullpen gate if he misses it.
So Valdez delivers with a base hit. The Reds have a 2-1 lead, and here's Hannigan, second and third for Cincinnati. Still no one out. I mean, give Soriano his due. He is not a good defensive outfielder. No, he'll make some mental mistakes, but Dave McKay has him cutting balls off better this year than he ever has as an outfielder.
Well, that play that he made there, that was a phenomenal play. Normally that ball's all the way to the gate.
Right field, back to Jesus. He'll glove it, but that'll get another run in. Both runners will advance. Going from second to third is Valdez, and Hannigan delivers again.
Nice job.
Get him on, get him over, get him in, and Hannigan does. 3-1 Reds. Bruce an infield hit. Frazier a base hit. First and third. Run scoring double by Valdez, and the sacrifice fly. The Reds lead by 2. There's Latos. The infield will come into the edge of the grass with 1 away. First time up, tried to bunt twice, eventually struck out.
He's going to be hacking from the get-go here. And we've seen Latos already perform with a runner at third base and get the run in with a sacrifice fly deep enough to score the run.
And he's got a homer and 3 runs batted in. Three runs, 6 hits for the Reds. A run, 2 hits for the Cubs.
That starts with that big wide open stance, looking for the ball out over the plate.
That's going to get him in. 4 runs batted in for big 55. 4-1 Reds.
Should have stayed inside.
He wanted to.
Wanted to get it in there, and he throws it right out over the plate. Those are the kind of mistakes you cannot make with a pitcher.
One away. 3 runs in for the Reds. Back to the top of the order, Cozart, who's 1 for 2, a single. miss at a breaking ball, and it's 1-1.
And you're right, George. Every time he goes to pick that knee up is when you see that good hard breaking ball down and away. Slide step with a fastball and picks his knee up on a hard breaking ball down and away. There it is again. Back to back. Pick the knee straight up. You know it's breaking ball.
In the dirt. And very seldom when you look at splits of a pitcher, a big, strong right-hander like this. Right-handed batters against Volstead are hitting .315 with 6 homers. Lefties only .282 and 2 home runs. Unlikely numbers for a kid like this.
And a lot of that is breaking balls that are left over the heart of the plate or not pitching inside.
In Florida, they moved him around a couple of times from the first base side of the rubber to the third base.
Now he's in the middle.
He's right in the middle now. 3-2. Runner not going. Fouled at the plate.
When you talk about standing in the middle of the mound, this is almost the spot where Volstead stands. He doesn't get anything from an angle on this side or this side where you're normally going to see a right-handed pitcher stand. You're on one side or the other. Very rarely do you see a pitcher right in the middle. You create no angle at all when you're in the middle.
Lazy fly ball to left. Soriano under it. Latos will stay at first. 2 away. And here's Drew Stubbs, who's 0 for 2 coming in. Hey, enjoy one of Cincinnati's favorites at Great American Ballpark, Penn Station East Coast Subs. Find a Penn Station location near sections 130 and 414 and enjoy all the baseball action while eating a Penn Station signature sub and authentic fresh cut fries. To see your Reds at Great American Ballpark, call 513-381-REDS or visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com.
When you're on the third base side of that rubber, George, it gives you so much more advantage with your breaking ball. Just the angle from outside to inside.
Well, the Reds do a little work in the fourth. They score a 3, lead at 4-1. On Fox Sports Ohio, being brought to you by JTM Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. Buy your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers available now. Visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile. and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Would it ever be possible for two sets of brothers to play in the same infield? Well, that's part of our Larkin's Greatest Moments, 11 Days of Larkin moment today. Number 7, final game of the 98 season. Barry and his brother Steven joined Brett and Aaron Boone for a family affair in the Reds infield. Boone, the two Boonies. Steven's over at first. There's a ground ball and there's an out. And the best part of the day, Steven got his first major league hit. What a day. Still remember the look on Barry's face when they gave him a standing ovation as Steven came off the field. Barry smiling, Steven smiling, and the two Boone brothers too. Major League Baseball history and a moment to remember for Barry Larkin. Join us August the 24th to 26th for Barry Larkin weekend. That'll be a lot of fun. That's a great day. Barry Larkin and Steven Larkin, Aaron Boone and Brett Boone. Four runs, 7 hits for the Reds, a run, 2 hits for the Cubs. We go to the top of the 5th. Brett Jackson will lead it off. Popped to second first time up. California native who was outstanding on the USA national team as a youngster. Has unique athletic ability. Not as big a body, but if you were to look at video of Brett Jackson at a similar stage in his teen years into his early 20s, it reminds you a lot of Josh Hamilton. That's a long stretch. Hopefully he'll have a kind of career of late that Hamilton has had, but he has that kind of ability.
When he connects with the baseball, the ball jumps off of his bat. The one thing that he has right now, he's got a little bit too much stride coming to the pitcher, and that's one of the reasons he's coming up empty a lot of times with the swing. When you have an overstride as a hitter, you end up dropping that back shoulder and you create a loop in your bat, and that loop creates a big hole for a pitcher to run that fastball right by you.
And that translates into 23 strikeouts and 44 at bats.
But it's something that is easily correctable, and it will be corrected.
Boy, speaking of Josh Hamilton, how about last night? The California Angels had 8-0 lead over the Texas Rangers, and it looked like in their game against Toronto, and the end result, they lose. Toronto comes back to score 10 runs and beat them. You thought that Texas and Tampa, rather, you thought that Texas and California would be battling for first place, but over in that American League West, Anaheim's had trouble. They're now 8 games back.
That is the first time today that I have seen Latos get that fastball call down at the kneecaps. And I guess if you're persistent enough and you fight it enough with the umpire and you show him that you can pitch down there, and there he gets the call again. Sometimes you just have to show the umpire that you can hit that spot over and over and over again, and finally you're going to get the call. That's 3 consecutive, all in the same spot. Boy, you could really see Ryan Hannigan thinking back there, working quick. Tried to put the backdoor breaker on him. Start it off the plate and bring it back to the outside corner.
1 and 2 to Clevenger. Brandon. 2 away.
He spoils you, George.
Boy.
Brandon Phillips, he makes plays look so easy. That ball was hit much harder than what it looked like. Phillips got a good jump on the ball, but he didn't even have time to get his glove to the backhand side. He fields it coming forward and makes it look like a routine play, and that was anything but a routine play.
I mean, it sounds like it's an impossibility, but how do you stay balanced when you're off balance? And Brandon Phillips has the ability to do that. He'll be off balance, but still maintain balance enough to make a throw.
Well, you see him get to that side, stumbles for a moment, and he makes the perfect throw. I think the one thing about Brandon, when it really gets down to it, in his head, he knows if he can get to his feet or get to a throwing position, he's going to get the ball to first base and get the runner. And I think that's where his relaxation comes from when it really gets down to making those really, really spectacular or highlight reel tough plays. He's got the arm to get it done.
When he came up as a shortstop in Montreal, then had the second life, went to Cleveland, came to Cincinnati. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. More about Brandon later, but what a clean inning for Latos. 2 strikeouts, 5 on the afternoon. Reds lead it 4-1. Brandon due up first. Now it's time for Fox Sports Ohio to bring you to the Reds. For more information on you and your group can get on the Fox Sports Ohio Fan Express to Reds Country. Call 513-765-7600 or visit Reds.com Fan Express. If you're in the North College Hill and Western Hills area tomorrow afternoon, make sure to be on the lookout for the Reds Fan Express. 4-1 Reds. Good day to. Oh, that's a serious. That's one of those turkey legs, isn't it? You had a few of those, Joel?
Oh, that's good. That's hot. That's nice.
Cowboy that and a little ice cream and you're set.
Boy, I'd be live and in concert right there.
Look at Jesse. His eyes are popping out of his head. Jesse's not even there eating it, and he's already got grease on his chin.
I'll be breaking that thing down like disco fever.
What did you have last night after the 2 games here at the ballpark? We had a fun day of long-time baseball. What'd you do?
Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream ice cream.
I didn't even go for solid food. I just went straight ice cream.
Here's Brandon. Bounced into a fielder's choice, lined out 0 for 2. He's 5 for 10 coming in against Volstad, some success, but can you explain why he struggled so much? It's pretty clear this whole series last week in Chicago, they stay away from Brandon. They'll show inside but try to get him out of the way. One.
That's where they're killing Phillips right there. The breaking ball is starting in the middle of the plate and breaking off the plate. But by pitching him at his hands, what you're doing is making him retreat his hands. And anytime you can get a hitter to retreat their hands backwards, you're opening up the outside part of the plate every time. And anytime that you can make a hitter move his hands back, or you change their eye level by making them move their head back, it changes their whole vision of where that outside corner is. And we all know that plate is only so wide. And then you swing at that.
Brandon finally takes off to first. They'll get him out. So it's a strikeout for Volstead. It's a strikeout and a 2-3 put out. Strikeout number 3 for Volstead.
And you see how far outside that pitch is. And what they've done by pitching Brandon fastballs in at his hands is basically eliminate his vision of where that corner should be. I mean, they've expanded that plate a good 6 to 8 inches off the dish.
One away. Here's Ludwig, a walk and a fly ball to center.
Well, he just missed a breaking ball his last time up, and he knows it. He leaked forward just a little bit, got under it.
This year against the Cubs, Ludwig has come up big, over 300, 324. 5 of his 25 homers have come off Chicago. And through his career, he had some big homers for the Cardinals against the Cubs over the years. 15 career homers against Chicago. One and two.
That pitch there for Volstead is about as good as it gets. That hard downward breaking slider off the plate after a breaking ball for a strike. Whoa. And what happens there is he's just flat locked up two pretty good hitters. Starts him off with a high fastball on the Mazda. Pitch by pitch, high fastball out of the strike zone. Next pitch is a breaking ball. That's what Ludwig was looking for. Then he goes down and away. Now watch here. Not a breaking ball, but a fastball on the outside corner.
Mazda pitch by pitch view. Fox Tracks view of that one a little outside. Here comes Jay. Bruce, base hit to right, knocked in the Reds' first run in the first inning, and then a squib base hit down the third base line started the Reds rally in the fourth. He singled. Frazier singled him to third. Valdez doubled in a run. There's a grounder down the third. Balbuena has it. Bruce retired. And so are the Reds. 1, 2, 3 quietly in the fifth. Top of the order due up for the Cubs. this season in the Kroger Bleachers at Great American Ballpark. Kroger Bleachers, the place to catch all the Reds action, with ticket prices starting as low as $8. And for additional savings, plan a group outing of 25 or more. Enjoy the party with your family and friends in the Kroger Bleachers. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or reds.com today. See the numbers for Votto. 5 strikeouts thus far. 2 last inning. Top of the order due up. David DeJesus victimized the first time by Matt. Second time up, double to center. A 1-hopper off the wall. Scored Clevenger, who had walked in front of him. That tied the game at 1. The Reds put 3 on the board in the 4th. With a Bruce and a Frazier base hit, a run scoring double by Valdez, a sacrifice fly by Hannigan, and a base hit by Votto. So Matt's helped himself on the mound and at the plate. To the 6th we go. Reds will leave here after today's ball game and head to Philadelphia. And when you plotted out the season, I mean, you looked at obviously we talked about this early, Cowboy, that West Coast road trip, 11 games in 11 days right before the All-Star break, you riveted on that, thinking that could be very dangerous. The club withstood that. And you looked at this trip to Philadelphia thinking that if you're in a pennant race, that's a tough trip.
4 games in Philly. And it's still going to be a tough trip for the Reds, even as well as they're playing, simply because the Phillies have gotten back a lot of their players that were hurt almost 3/4 of the season.
So don't just look at 55 and 65 and 19 games out. You've got Halladay, Lee, and Hamble still to face. Blanton, of course, traded. Every one of those games will be right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds live pregame at 6:30 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then the Reds are back home to take on the Cardinals. So still an important week.
You've got Utley and Howard back as well. They did trade Hunter Pence. That ballpark still provides a little bit of offense from that right side. Howard and Utley haven't forgotten how to hit. They may have been hurt for a little bit, but they hadn't forgotten how to hit.
Foul past Dave McKay in the first base coach's box. Full count 3-2. Lonely Planet travel guide named Cincinnati, USA, one of the top 3 travel destinations in 2012. So what are you waiting for? Book your weekend getaway at Cincinnati, USA. Listen to Lonely Planet travel guide and come to Cincy. 3-2. That's a base hit for DeJesus, his second. Leadoff hitter on in the 6th.
Votto's looked right back to Hannigan, and they both almost looking skyward in frustration because of the pitch to DeJesus. They wanted it inside, and the ball got back over the plate just enough to allow him to pull the ball pull the ball between Phillips and Frazier. You can see Votto's. Hey, you just go to work on the next guy.
And that's Darwin Barney, who bounced at the pitcher and struck out. Down to third, bobbled by Valdez. They won't get a runner at second. Could have been 2. You wind up with nothing, and 2 on and nobody out.
Well, as you know, George, they always say that is the hot corner, and that ball got on Valdez in a hurry. And you have to make sure of one. If you bobble the ball, you got to know who's running. And DeJesus, as you said earlier, he gets a great secondary lead, and he beat that ball to the bag. Bobble even for a moment, you got to go to first there.
Here's Valbuena. Walk and a fly ball to left. Underway in St. Louis, scoreless. Buccos and the Cardinals in the third. Arizona and Houston scoreless in the third. Philadelphia leads Milwaukee 2-0 in the second. Dodgers lead Atlanta 1-0 in the fifth. Mets and Washington just getting started.
We talked about Matt Latos and controlling the emotions. He's got to control his emotions here and this game.
Stopped, and that'll save a run. They won't get an out, but a great job by Cozart. You talked about Soriano, maybe the ball catching him. It looked like this was past Cozart. Somehow he got a glove on it.
A diving effort. And how about the presence of mind to go to first base, knowing that the runner had already gotten to second. Phillips obviously communicating with no throw at second. I don't know how he got the ball all the way across the infield, falling backwards. That made it in the air.
Great effort by Cozart to save a run. We'll see if it proves to be fruitful for the rest of this inning. The Reds will keep the infield back at double play depth.
They'll give up one run if they can get 2 outs.
And here's Soriano, who bounced to the pitcher and single to left. Single, an error, and an infield hit. Loaded for the Cubs. No one out. This will get a run in. And tagging at second is Barney, but he'll go nowhere. Stubbs' throw right to the cutoff man. A run will score. So De Jesus starts it with a single and trots home on the sacrifice fly from Soriano. He picked up his 1,000th career run batted in yesterday. And this is his 74th of the season today.
It's a pretty good job of hitting there by Soriano. He didn't pull off that ball at all. Stayed on it on a good breaking ball down and away. Gets the ball in a spot that you at least get a run home and you stay away from the double play.
And the double play still in order for the Reds with 1 out now. So you can get a ground ball double play here. You can minimize what could have been a disastrous inning. Tough to do with this guy who runs well, though. Pop out and a fly ball out 0 for 2.
Well, if you're going to get Castro to chase that breaking ball away again, you're going to have to establish inside somewhere along the line.
On that fly ball to center, both Barney at second and Valbuena at first tagged up, just waiting to see what Stubbs would do. If the throw had gone awry at all, they both would have gone, and the double play possibility would have been erased. So the Reds still have that double play chance. Not this time. That's a hard hit ball to center. Stubbs charging. The throw to the plate will be cut. The third run will score for the Cubs. Castro picks up his 61st run batted in, and it's a 4-3 game.
Now Castro was sitting on the breaking ball that entire at bat, and you can see him just pepper that ball right back up the box. Breaking ball that stayed up and out over the plate. They got him early, but that time, 3 times in a row for that kid with nothing inside, he's going to sit all over it, and he did.
There's the first baseman, Brian LaHare, a strikeout and a fly ball out. Just missing inside for ball one.
Well, that's not a bad pitch right there. Get LaHare to pull off of one. Maybe he'll roll over the ball on the pitch away.
Setting up in again. That's a strike.
It's a tough ball to catch up with right there. Ball appears to be straight as a string. It's not. That ball is starting just a bit off the plate inside and tailing back to the corner right at the last second. Does it again.
Perfect spot. 1-2.
Well, that ball really had some movement to it. Starting inside, ball runs well back to the outside, almost to the outside corner. It's a heck of a two-seamer.
Tried to buy it, holding it on that outside corner, didn't get it.
That one was just a little bit higher than the two previous.
Knocked down. They'll get one at second, and they do it again. Oh, boy, poetry in motion. Cozart, second straight glove job. And Brandon, what can you say? Not gold, platinum, and more. Dancing dog, our John Morrell hot dog play of the game. Cowboy, it's not how many double plays you get during the year, it's when they come and how important they are. Latos needed this one.
Well, he needed it, especially after the error where he thought he was going to get a double play earlier. And Cozart moved to his left right as the pitch was made. And coming off the bat, to be honest with you, I thought that was a base hit.
I did too.
And Cozart got it, flipped it basically behind him. Phillips bare hands it, and he's on the shortstop side of the bag, throwing back the other way, and they still get it turned.
We'll show you that again, just to watch Phillips, because here he is. He's almost turned around completely. He's got to grab the ball with his bare hand. touch the bag with his opposite foot, then still come and make a strong throw. I mean, talk about impressive.
Well, when he got the ball, he was facing right field.
Look at this.
See him turn, and he's got to scrape the bag with his foot and then get a good enough plant with the right leg to get something on the ball.
Man, something special. 2 balls, 1 strike to Todd Frazier. Frazier bounced out, had a base hit in the middle of that rally in the 4th when the Reds scored 3 to take a 4-1 lead. Every night, every day, something unique.
This is just a fun team to watch play.
Yep. 2-2. Oh, rocket, but Valbuena will ole.
Look at both of the ball games yesterday, George. I don't know. Did you see the line drive? That's backing up Valbuena as he catches that.
Help, mama.
I don't know which game was more exciting, the tremendous pitching of Johnny Cueto and the closeout of Chapman of the game 1, or the fact that the Reds came back from an 8-2 deficit and almost won game 2.
Don Gullett always said every time you come to the ballpark, you're going to see something you've never seen before. Be ready.
He's right.
He was right. Here's Wilson Valdez. More often than not, he's come up with solid defense, whether he's played short, second, third, or even center field.
Well, the ball that he bobbled there at third, that's just an aberration. That just doesn't happen.
Yep. Two.
But it also shows you how quickly that ball gets on top of you when you're playing third base.
All part of that package, though. How hard the ball has hit. Who's the runner on first? Where do I go with it? 2 away. Follow Fox Sports Ohio's coverage of the Cincinnati Reds with the MLB.com @Bat12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @Bat to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details. Here's Hannigan, singled his first time up, and then his sacrifice fly to right in the 4th. Plated the Reds' 3rd run. Into the 4th, Pirates and Cardinals scoreless in St. Louis. Three and 1.
Very interesting that Jaime Garcia is coming back today, making his first start in quite some time.
Full count 3-2. I think what everyone's looking at, will Lance Berkman come back? And if he does win, he certainly would make a difference in that lineup. Boy. Dribble to third, Valbuena. Reds go 1-2-3 in the 6th. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Reds, 3-5-0 for the Cubs. Reds lead 4-3. in order, the former Red Adam Dunn. This long home run last night. He leads the American League in homers, his 400th of his career. The former Red texted his fans in Cincinnati, thanks for all your support. After a rough year last year, this has been a bounce-back year for him, leading the league in homers, leading the league in walks, and leading the league in strikeouts, the way it used to be in the National League. Of course, Astros fired manager Brad Mills last night. Today named Tony DeFrancesco the interim manager, and you know about Starlin Castro. He announced it yesterday, signed that 7-year, $60 million contract extension. Congratulations to Dunner, huh, Cowboy?
You hit 400 home runs, you either better be really big or you better have some kind of bat speed, and he's got both of them.
He's on a short list of players that have hit 400 home runs in 12 years. Albert Pujols has the most during that period, but there are 3 Reds on that list: Frank Robinson, Adam Dunn, and Ken Griffey Jr. All of them are on that list of 8 players.
I would say that's pretty good company.
Yep. Okay, we were talking about it before the game. If he gets to 500 home runs or 600 home runs, is he Hall of Fame caliber?
You know, you would think that he would be. I mean, you look at the numbers and I mean, how could you not be? I mean, do you go back and say, well, your batting average wasn't so great and this year or that year, or do you just, I mean, do you talk about the home run numbers?
2-0 to Brett Jackson. Now the other part of the equation, in the National League, of course, he played first and left. In the American League, he's been relegated almost solely to designated hitter duty. Right. And in my mind, Edgar Martinez is a Hall of Famer. He was a leader on his club. He did so much, and you know, there are many that think I'll never vote for a designated hitter as a Hall of Famer.
But I think as time goes on, there will be different voters.
Yep.
And the designated hitter is going to be accepted more as time goes on, because the folks that are not voting for it now are not going to be here 20 years from now.
Yep. Full count 3-2 to Jackson, who's 0 for 2. Missing ball 4. And now a different scenario. After a 3-run lead, it's become a 1-run lead. Jackson's got speed. He would steal 15 to 20 bases a year in the minor leagues. What do you do if you're Dale Swain? Do you give him a chance to steal a base? Latos has caught only 2 of 18 that have tried to steal against him, but Hannigan, 43%. He's been one of the best in the league all year.
I think that's what Hannigan was talking with Latos about as he went to the mound.
Clevenger, a walk and a bounce out.
But the leadoff walks, as you know, they kill you.
You've got,
and one has already scored tonight or today.
The pitcher spot due up next, and Anthony Rizzo's moved into the on-deck circle. Showing bunt. They got a chance for the runner at second. They'll get it on to first. Yes, sirree.
What a play by Cozart.
Wow. Cozart hung tough. They got dumped and banged into by the youngster who did everything he could to disrupt it.
Well, that's a heck of a redeemer right there by Wilson Valdez. He got to that ball like a cat. A perfect chest-high throw. If he doesn't get a chest-high throw, he never gets to throw off at second, because Brett Jackson basically took a roll block into Zach Cozart. That's a heck of a double play right there. That's a highlight reel.
Man. It's a play where everybody did what they were supposed to do. I mean, give Jackson credit too. Did that hit him? No, missed him. I mean, Jackson did everything he could to disrupt the play. And at the other end of it, Frazier had to pick it one hop out of the dirt. So here's Rizzo pinch hitting, but now with no one on.
Aren't these guys former teammates?
Yes. It was his first year last year up in San Diego.
Figured that's why that first pitch was way inside.
Well, I mean, last year he struggled so much with pitches in. He's adjusted to that a little bit this year.
And he is staying in there.
One, two. Brandon's got it. 5-6-3. The kind of double play you don't see often, but the kind of double play that made a difference in this inning as Matt Latos gets some big time help with the twin killing. We'll keep it here for God Bless America. Here's Joe Zierhaus, the PA announcer in Cincinnati.
Rise, remove your caps, and face the American flag. Major League Baseball, the Cubs and the Reds salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Angela Cheslot as she leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Sunday, August the 26th, first 8,000 kids 14 and younger receive a Kids Gapper Cup courtesy of Frisch's. And make sure you take advantage of the Meyer ticket deal to see your Reds take on the Cardinals at half price. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/family. Some restrictions do apply.
Is that just for the kids?
You're always a kid. You count.
See if I can get me some ice cream in there.
Four runs, 7 hits for the Reds. They hold on to a 1-run lead as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's Michael Bowden's second time in the series.
5.79 earned run average for the right-hander. Boy, don't you know that his counterpart, Chris Volstad, wants him to hold it right there and hope that his team can get back in the game.
Volstad pitched pretty well on this day. He allowed the Reds 7 hits and 4 runs.
He just had that one big inning in the 4th, gave up 3 runs in the inning, and those are the kind of innings that you really have to have better damage control than just giving up the 3 runs.
I mean, realistically, this week, Cowboy, the Reds may have had their worst defensive week of the year. They made some mistakes, made some errors, not just errors, but they made some critical mistakes. But in this game, those 2 double plays are instrumental in them still holding on to the lead right now.
No doubt about it. They would not have the lead without him.
Bouncer down to short. Castro. Latos retired, 1 away. Hey, tonight the Crew heads down to the deep heart of Texas to take on the Houston Dynamo. Dwight Burgess, Duncan Houghton bring you all the action on the pitch at 9 at the home of the Columbus Crew Soccer, Fox Sports Ohio. There's Zach Cozart. When you catch or you're a shortstop, game's over, you look at the box score, you can never tell the contribution by numbers of those 2 positions. And today's a perfect example for this guy.
You're right. Well, the thing about it, that's why you hear so much talk from managers and people about baseball, about being strong up the middle, your catcher, your 2 middle infielders, and your center fielder. Because speed and defense and a heady catcher can make a whole lot of difference in a ball game.
And you know, it is a simple thing, but I mean, it might have meant a half a step. It might have meant the difference. But you saw Hannigan go out and talk to Latos with Jackson with great speed. There's a bloop into right. That'll drop for a hit. And Cozart is on his second hit of the day. And Latos threw over there 3 times to first base.
Right.
That might have been the difference in the play at second base. If he gets a chance to be one more step further onto Cozart, maybe he doesn't make that play.
Well, if you don't show any attention at all to Jackson, Dale Swaim is probably going to run it, and then you end up with that ground ball up the middle, and it's a base hit, and it scores the run from second instead of having a chance for a double play ball, and the guy is being held much closer to first base because of the throws over. Hannigan carries the brain. I've already said that once.
Right.
I'll say it again.
You carry the ice cream. Hannigan carries the brain.
Dick's got the barbecue.
And Jesse's got all the giveaways. Here's Stubbs. Flied out, struck out, flied out. No truer words have ever been spoken. They call it the tools of ignorance, but the good catcher that makes a difference carries the brain.
You got it.
Oh, and 2. The other part of that equation that helps the Reds is you did get Rizzo to the plate, so you cross him off as you head to the final 2 innings as a possible pinch hitter.
Right.
And when you look at the Cubs bench, he was the most formidable pinch hitter that they had left.
And I think that's one of the reasons that Del Swain used him when he did. You're not going to use Rizzo against Aroldis Chapman, and you want him in a situation against a right-hander, somebody that he knows where he can do some damage.
Hit hard down to short. They'll get one at second, and in time.
Don't see that much.
Only a couple of times this year they nailed him on 2. Reds lead by 1. Summary Reds lead it by 1. Wilson Valdez has contributed his double. Plates the go-ahead run for the Reds. They lead it 2-1 as Jay Bruce, who started it off with a single, scores. After a sacrifice fly made it 3-run, Matt Latos bangs a single to right off Volstead, and the Reds lead it 4-1. Meanwhile, on the other side, Starlin Castro and Alfonso Soriano have contributed. Castro's base hit to center brought the Cubs to within 1. But defense has been the difference. In that 6th inning, a brilliant double play for the Reds, turned by Brandon Phillips. And then this double play last inning kept the Cubs off the board and still a 1-run lead. Defense, defense, defense. It's been a key for the Reds all year. And that's the story this afternoon as well. 4 runs, 8 hits, and an error for Cincinnati. The Cubs 3-5-0. Matt Latos sitting on 94 pitches as we head to the top of the 8th inning.
It looks like Jonathan Broxton is throwing down in the Reds bullpen. Just in case.
There's De Jesus. He's had a productive series for the Cubs. Last night his home run proved to be the difference in the game. It was a homer in the leadoff part of the 9th inning as the Cubs won it by 1. Today a double plated the first run for the Cubs, and he started the rally in the 6th with a base hit to right. One ball, 2 strikes. 41,615 the announced crowd, 13th sellout of the season. That gives the 4-game total 146,000 plus, Cowboy.
This place is slammed. I mean, even the aisles are full. That's what we heard Zach Cozart talking about when we started the ball game, about how much difference it makes for the players on the field, adrenaline wise, and just getting up for a ball game, especially after having a doubleheader yesterday. You get this many people in the ballpark pushing you towards that win.
Cozart knocks it down, bounces up, won't get him. The speedy De Jesus will be on, but another great effort by Cozart.
His uniform is going to have to take a break, because it is going to be about as filthy as you can get. He's been diving more than he has been just catching a routine ground ball today.
So the leadoff hitter on, meaning Latos will work from the stretch again. De Jesus, good speed, good base runner. Here's Barney. Bounce of the pitcher, struck out, reached on the arrow. Barney peers down at Pat Listash, who rolls through some signs for him.
De Jesus has had a heck of a day. Been a thorn in Latos' side ever since the strikeout to begin the ball game.
Show and bunt. You never know with Dale Swain. When he took over as the interim manager in Milwaukee after Ned Yost was relieved of his duties, I mean, he told everybody from day one, be alive, be awake. I mean, game one of this series, he had Travis Wood hit and run. He'll hit and run with a pitcher. He'll sacrifice it one time, and then he's likely to turn around and hit and run even after a sacrifice is missed. Not likely 0-2, but you just don't know.
When your team is offensively challenged, you have to do what you have to do.
Hanging in there, staying alive is Barney.
I mean, the object from an offensive side is to put pressure on the defense. The only way you can do that is put the ball in play. Or, once you get a runner aboard, put him in motion. But so far, the Reds have been able to make the plays, save for the one ground ball that was to Valdez.
De Jesus, a good base runner, not a likely base stealer, though. They got him. Wow. Had him thinking away, and busted him in.
Well, that ball took off. That ball started in the heart of the plate and just ran right in on Darwin Barney. And when you're throwing the ball 94 miles an hour, you got to start pretty quick. He just couldn't stop.
One out, one on. Here's Valbuena. Walk, fly ball out, and reached on an infield hit. Past the 100 pitch mark is Latos. He's reaching down deep here in the 8th inning.
Again, that's Latos and Hannigan working together, trying to make sure De Jesus stays as close to first base as they can make it.
Right field, back is Bruce, looking up, reaching up, off the tip of his glove. De Jesus had to stop, so he will only go to third. Bruce got a piece of it but couldn't hold on. So now it's second and third with one out.
Looked like he just took his eye off of it right at the last second. I don't know if that ball started to tail back towards center field and got over the top of his head, but it sure hit his glove awful funny.
Well, here's Soriano. They're going to charge Bruce with an error. So the error puts runners at second and third. Soriano to the plate. His sacrifice fly last time up plated a run. The run will score on the ground ball out. And we've got a brand new ball game tied at 4. Runs, 8 hits for the Reds, 4 runs, 6 hits for the Cubs. And here comes Brian Price.
I think this obviously is a situation where you got to talk about who you're going to face here. I know LaHare hits from the left side and he's got some pop, but Starlin Castro pretty much proved his ability to hit with runners in scoring position time and time and time again.
Today's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the United States Armed Forces, serving in 75 countries and aboard ships at sea. We're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, Japan. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for doing what you do for all of us back home.
Amen.
And we look forward to seeing you back at the ballpark here soon.
Safe and sound.
So Latos at one point led 4-1, now tied at 4 here in the 8th. Castro popped up, flied out, and his single to center knocked in the 3rd run for the Cubs back in that 6th inning.
First pitch changeup to Starlin Castro, trying to catch him over aggressive, and he misses inside.
That's looped to right into the corner and out of play. Ball and a strike. Cardinals have put a 2 spot on the board. They lead the Buccos 2-0 in the 5th. Big swing, and it's 1-2.
That ball was elevated a little bit more than the pitch before. And you could see a little bit of loop in the bat of Castro. If you're going to give him another fastball, you better make it a little bit higher. Either that or you bounce it in the dirt.
1-2, 2 outs.
Ooh. That wasn't higher.
Castro just missed one there. Miscues have played a role in the 2 innings where the Cubs have put some tallies on the board. In the 6th and in the 8th. Two. And we'll go full. Brian LaHare, 0 for 3 on deck.
Yeah, this is game on the line right now. Tie ball game.
Down to short, Cozart. And he pulls him off the bag, but over to third. What a great reaction by Frazier. Just a ball player. That's what Todd Frazier is. He catches Valbuena off the bag to keep this game tied. Another look. Alert. Sundays on Fox Sports Ohio, join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall, the personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. After today's game, it's Philadelphia Phillies Hall of Famer Robin Roberts. Boys in the Hall presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. Well, the Reds have another subpar defensive day with 3 errors today, but alertness. 2 great double plays, and this play by Frazier bailed them out here.
Cozart just gets underneath this throw, but as you said, Frazier looking all the way, and I don't know if it was somebody from the dugout that was screaming at Frazier or what it was, but boy, he spun his head around and fired a strike to Wilson Valdez at third base.
And who knows what might have happened if he doesn't make that play. He's due up 4th in the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillips, Ludwig, Bruce, Frazier due up. Aroldis Chapman has started to loosen in the bullpen for Cincinnati. Broxton was up in the 8th, and you had a feeling that might have been Leto's last hitter anyways. Broxton might have been on his way in if the runner was safe. It'll go as another error for the Reds, and then the 3-5 putout. Here's Brandon. Bounced into a fielder's choice, lined out to first, and struck out. Bowden's second inning of work. He had a 1-2-3 inning in the 7th, even though he gave up a base hit. The double play got him out of trouble. Working from the stretch to Brandon.
Bowden's got a very unique type of delivery, almost a hesitation at the top of his throwing before he comes plateward.
Dribbler back to the mound. Phillips retired, one away, bottom of 8. Here comes Ludwig.
But he throws a split finger, and with that hesitation at the top, it really throws the hitters off. You can watch Phillips here, and you can almost see the split in the fingers of the pitcher. High fastball there, and Phillips just taps it right over the top of it.
Hey, Reds fans, August, National Sandwich Month, so celebrate it with JTM's quick and delicious meatball sub kits. Pick up a bag today at JTM. Here's Ludwig, 1 for 2 against Bowden in his matchups. Today, a walk, a fly ball to center, and a strikeout. No one has delivered more clutch swings for the Reds since the All-Star break than this guy. 10 home runs, 25 knocked in the last 10 games. Overall, 25 homers, 66 knocked in. Going into today, he and Jay Bruce were tied for the 3rd spot in the league with homers behind Braun and Beltran. One and 2.
Bowden throws that high fastball and then comes back with the split finger. You can really see him dig in there when right before he steps onto the mound, really jams that thing deep into his fingers.
Two.
There he is, putting it in there. There's that split. And you can see he throws it from the very same arm slot as the fastball. Straight fastball. Probably hooks a seam with his index finger, making that split finger go straight down at home plate. Doesn't try to overthrow it, just stays on top of it.
Full count, 3-2. And the Reds have a 1-out base runner here in the 8th. And here comes Jay. Bruce in the 1st singled in the Reds' first run, started the Reds rally in the 4th with an infield hit and bounced to 3rd last time up.
Cal Swain maybe going to the left-hander right now.
He's had Beliveau and Russell, 2 lefties to use, and he will. So Bruce will come to the plate with 1 out and 1 on. And while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. is proud to support Boys and Girls Clubs of America, a place where you can watch youth reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Now the Reds led at 1 point, 4-1 in this game. We're now knotted at 4. It's a bullpen game from here on out. Bottom of the 8th. 1 out, 1 on. Jay Bruce to the plate. And Dale Swaim has turned to one of his lefties, Jeff Beliveau, who pitched in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday. The Jeff Samardzija start. He came in to relieve Samardzija, and in the 6th inning walked 2, but did not allow a run. So he will face Jay Bruce with Todd Frazier due up next. He will face Bruce for the first time. Jay today singled in a run, started a rally with an infield hit and bounced out. See his numbers against lefties: 8 home runs on the year. Ludwig short lead off first. Beliveau to the stretch. Clips the outside corner for strike 1. Pirates have scored a pair in the 6th to tie the Cardinals 2-2 in St. Louis.
Tried to throw Jay a breaking ball on the inside part of the plate there. And it just spins up there. That's the one, if you get it out over the plate, that's the one you want to connect on. The spinner. See ya.
Slap foul and out of play. The run batted in for Jay in the first inning pushed him past 75 runs batted in. He leads the Reds right now. One of only 3 players with 25 homers, 30 doubles, and 75 knocked in this year. Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols the other 2. Took a lot off, and way out in front is Jay for the strikeout. And they'll leave Beliveau in with Frazier coming to the plate.
Sweeping breaking ball. It was a strike whether Bruce swings or not. And that's exactly where Clevenger had set up.
So here's Todd. Bounced out in the first. Single to send Bruce to third in the Reds rally in the 4th, and line to third in the 6th. 0 for 1 against Beliveau in their previous matchups.
Right-handers hitting .214 against Beliveau. Left-handers .273. It's kind of an odd number.
That breaking ball rolls in for a strike. It's 1-1.
Working Frazier with that fastball, trying to cut it in on his hands. Ultimately to either get the changeup or the breaking ball away from him.
Nub towards second. Barney will be there to get it. So the Reds get a runner, nothing to show for it. We're going to the 9th. Tied at 4. Cincinnati Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio has been brought to you by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the nation again in the United States News and World Report's 2012 Best Children's Hospitals. And by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your tri-state Chevy dealers. He pitched Friday night. He pitched in the first game Saturday. He's back again, Cowboy.
Aroldis Chapman on for his 3rd consecutive outing. After having 5 days off, now he'll have 3 days on. You and I talked about this back when the series began. When you're the closer, it is feast or famine. Even though this is not a closing situation because the ball game is tied. But if you're the closer at home and it's a tie ball game, you have the 9th inning. Because there is no closing situation once the game is tied in the ninth. So you can book it that you'll be in there.
And remember, no off day for the Reds this week. They go to Philadelphia for 4, then come home to take on the Cardinals for 3 next weekend. Here's Brian LaHare. He's 1 for 3 in his career against Chapman. LaHare today struck out, flied out, and bounced into that key inning-ending double play in the 6th inning for the Reds. In his first game appearance yesterday, he threw mostly sliders. And you mentioned, Cowboy, that's, I mean, save or no save or whatever, you'd like to see him work more on the slider. And he threw 2/3 sliders yesterday.
And I think that's just part of how he feels on a day where if you have it in the bullpen, you use it in the game. Today he's got the heater.
Yep. 99, 1 away.
Exmo of the strikeout, straight over the top, right behind the head. Folks, this is a baseball bullet.
Wow. Our Exmo replay courtesy of Performance Honda. 1 away. And here's Brett Jackson. Line drive left field going back Ludwig. It will be one hopping off the wall. So the youngster gets his first dose of a 99-mile-an-hour fastball from Chapman. He delivers a double into the left center field alley.
Very good piece of hitting by the young left-hander. Gets it out over the plate and the ball is down, and that's where Jackson has his success, and he gets the bat head right to the baseball.
So the go-ahead run down at second. Here's the catcher, Clevenger. Strike 1. Today a walk, a bounce out, and a ground out. Fielder's choice.
See, to me, George, for Chapman, especially guys that have not seen him, you elevate that fastball early because they're trying to cheat on the fastball. As we saw with Jackson there, that pitch was down and out over the plate, and he's swinging blindly, just trying to get the bat head to the strike zone.
1-1. There goes the runner. Got a shot at him. Got him. Ah, baby. Well, no, Chapman didn't check him. But the youngster, if you're going to steal third in a game like this, you make sure you got it.
You got to make it.
With a left-handed batter up 2, that gives Hannigan a clear shot at third. Great job by Hannigan. There is no maybe. Wow, what a turnaround. Thank you, Ryan Hannigan. Can the Reds wrap it up? Miller time. How about Hannigan time, Cowboy?
How do you catch a 99-mile-an-hour fastball and still make the throw like that? And that was a tremendous jump by Brett Jackson. And immediately following the next pitch, the old high heater, good night,
man,
Mr. Clevenger. Did you see the jump that Jackson had?
I thought he had no chance to get him.
He was halfway there, and he still threw him out.
And from a conceptual standpoint, it was a smart move, an aggressive move, because they didn't check him. Chapman did not look back at him, and they timed him pretty good.
Well,
but if you're going to do it, you got to
make it. And to be honest with you, George, I think they put the sign on.
Yep.
I think they gave him the sign to steal, because when Jackson was thrown out, he looked at the Clevenger, the hitter, as if, why didn't you swing to protect me?
And knowing Dale sway him, I got to believe he probably did.
Hey,
very aggressive.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yep. Well, let's see if the Reds can turn this into something positive. Xavier Paul will pinch hit. Right field. That's a base hit going into the corner.
Run, baby,
He's going to wind up with 3. Around second, going to third. Here comes the throw. It's a leadoff 3-bagger. He's been the Reds' best pinch hitter, and boy, do they need it today.
How about that? Boy, look at the face of Xavier Paul. Is he excited or what? You can see him chugging and checking out the third base coach. He almost ran out of gas heading into third. Boy, fill that tank up, baby.
He's looking at Mark Berry all the way. Berry's waving him all the way. So now the Cubs are going to have to bring the infield in. First triple of 2012. Already in this series, he had his first home run of 2012. Dale Swaim's moving the infield in and waving the outfielders in too.
Well, they've got to bring them all in, because they've got to be able to make a throw in case there's a fly ball into the outfield or a line drive. If Hannigan hits this ball deep enough, it's ball game either way.
So here's Hannigan after the Paul triple with Camp on the mound. That'll do it. That'll do it. Ryan Hannigan throws out the runner, then scores what proves to be the winning run with this base hit. Look out, Ryan. They got you.
What a way to end a homestand. My goodness. Wow.
He's the king of the Queen City today. First career walk-off hit, and it's a dandy, Cowboy.
Tell you what, you just can't draw it up any better than this. You throw out the potential winning run at third base, you come to the plate, and you drive home the winning run from third base. Wow.
He did get to second, so they'll officially score at a double. But what counts is Xavier Paul trotting home. A 4-1 lead, a 4-4 tie, and trouble at second base. Hannigan takes care of the runner at third, and he takes care of the run the Reds need with a base hit that gives Cincinnati 3 out of 4 against the Cubs. 5-10-3 for the Reds, 4-7-0 for the Cubs. You say it often, Cowboy. The star of the game doesn't always have the biggest hit. He had the biggest play and the biggest hit. Hey, Pick, you got a happy guy down here.
Boy, I do have a happy guy down here, George Grant. And as you said, how many times does a guy make a fantastic defensive play, then turn right around and help out offensively? And you get a ball there from Logan and Andrusic. But boy, a tough game today. But let's start with the play there in the top of the ninth inning, the throw out. Just a beautiful defensive play by you and a perfect throw.
Yeah, I had a feeling they might try something like that. Chappie's tough to put together too many hits off of, and I made a good throw. But the story of the day really is Latos. We didn't play great defense behind him, and he pitched awesome. He made pitches, he got his ground balls, he got his fly balls, and it's just It was a tough one for him not to get the W, but the team pulled through and we got a W.
Ryan, you've got a great 1-2 punch, and I'm not taking anything away from the other starters, but when Cueto and Latos get out there every single outing, you guys have a great opportunity to win.
Yeah, no, those guys are on point. They're really coming through and being the guys they can be. They're pushing each other. I think they're both trying to really step their game up, and the rest of the staff is too. Everybody really. This team's rolling. We expect to win, and it starts with the pitching, and the guys have been awesome.
You've had a great offensive season so far as well, and today in the that never gets old, Georgia Jeff. It absolutely never gets old. The guy that should have got the win right there, who pitched great, Matt Latos. I did just one final question on that. You see it all the time. A guy makes a great defensive play. They came back in the 9th inning, and boy, X comes through with the big triple, and all you want to do is get something out of the infield there, don't you?
Yeah, I got to pitch to hit. I wasn't going to wait around. He can be tough. He can nibble. He's got, a ball can go both ways with him, and he gave me something right away, and I jumped on it.
Ryan, thanks, man. Go take a shower. Appreciate it, buddy. Ryan Hannigan. Boy, what a great play, as you saw defensively, George and Jeff, and then he comes through with that big RBI, the game winner. The Reds are winners again. They take 3 out of 4. Fellas, back up to you.
Hey, Pick.
Yes, sir.
What did it feel like down there with all those fans right behind you?
I'll tell you what, that's the one thing I was going to say about it. You got to commend these guys for what they've done. What was it, over 130,000 for this 4-game series, a packed house today. It was electric and loud. You couldn't hear yourself think. I could not hear your calls up there when you guys were making that call when Ryan got that hit. That's how loud it was down there, and the players could feel that. I know Jeff Brantley's played in front of a full house, and it's got to pump you guys up.
And I think we saw you in that scrum at home plate with Xavier Paul.
I was up there. Hey, that's the forgotten thing of this whole thing. How big has that kid been since he's come up here? Time after time, George, you've seen it watching this team, and Jeff, you've been here. This kid is a player, and I think he's got a great future with this team.
Well, we got a great future coming up because there's a whole lot more for Reds Live postgame. Thanks, Pick. When we return, they'll take it all to you from the clubhouse to the field. Hannigan delivers. Back with more after this.